Yeah. So let's continue ahead with plant-water relations. We had started with that last time, and उसमें हमने discuss किया था about the first main process which takes place when it comes to the association of water with plants, and that is absorption, right? So the absorption of water by the plants, by the roots, we have seen what actually happens in the root hair. Okay, like the first step was imbibition. Okay, there was another process called diffusion, followed by osmosis, by which the water is able to enter the plant cell, right? But when it comes to absorption of water by the roots of plants, there are many other physiological steps which are involved. Okay, like it is associated with this imbibition, osmosis, diffusion, and everything. So the ultimate aim of the absorption part, okay, which is one of the most important steps in plant water relation, and वो है कि how the water is able to enter the plant cell, the root hair, and not how is it able to reach all the way to the xylem of the root, so that the electron is able to reach the upper part of the plant through that xylem. That will be the second step called translocation. Okay? Let's take a look about the absorption with respect to more such mechanisms. Okay, the physiological mechanisms. Okay? Going ahead with that, you remember something called plasmolysis also we had discussed?
Yes.
Osmosis हमने complete किया था. We have seen the types of solutions, that is isotonic, hypotonic, hypertonic.
Yes.
Right? So when a plant cell is placed in a particular type of a concentration, there is a movement of the solvent, that is water. If it is inside, then end osmosis. If it is moving out, then exosmosis. If there is no net movement, it is no osmosis. Okay.
Okay, got it. No osmosis.
Placed in a hypotonic solution, in that case, there will be plasmolysis.
Plasmolysis.
Is placed in a hypertonic solution. The cell is said to be plasmolysed because the water moves out of the cell.
Yes.
And the same plasmolysed cell, if it is kept back in a hypotonic solution, there is a reversal of the plasmolysis to some extent, which is called as deplasmolysis.
Yes, correct.
So plasmolysis and deplasmolysis are also dependent upon the concentration of the material medium, the plants. So till here we had seen in the previous session, right? And now going ahead with the rest of the concepts with respect to absorption and the physiological steps involved. Okay, so after plasmolysis and deplasmolysis, the next we have to understand is something called turgor pressure.
What is that?
Yes, we'll come to that. Okay, turgor pressure. In short, we use the word TP. Okay, turgor pressure, TP. This is out here. I know that it is turgor pressure. Okay, so see, the basic concept about turgor pressure is that, now consider this as a plant cell, for example.
Okay, plant cell.
Normal plant cell. Okay. Now, when the cell is filled with water,
yes,
it is undergoing end osmosis.
End osmosis.
Yes, the water is entering into the plant cell. So, inside the plant cell, there is something called protoplasm. It is the cell with the plasma membrane. So all the contents of the plant cell are exerting a pressure on the walls of the cells.
Yes.
Cytoplasm, the dissolved compositions, everything. Exerting pressure on the wall of the cell from inside. That pressure, which is applied by the contents of the cell onto the walls of the cell, इसको बोलते हैं turgor pressure.
Turgor pressure. Yeah.
And turgor pressure is also called as, pressure potential.
Pressure potential. Okay.
So TP is the same as PP. Okay.
TP.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Now.
Okay.
You know very well that the cell wall in the case of plant cells are rigid and inelastic.
Yes.
They are not flexible. They cannot shape. and they are freely permeable. But when it comes to plasma membrane, okay, they are differentially permeable ones. That means regulate the ions and molecules which are entering the cell or moving out of the cell.
Oh.
Differentially permeable.
Okay, okay. Differentially permeable.
It to be freely permeable.
Okay, got it.
Inside the cell, in the plasma membrane, that is slightly flexible. If the water moves out of the cell, if it shrinks, then plasma membrane also slightly shrinks. But cell wall is as it is.
Yes.
So you understood the concept of turgor pressure now?
Yes, understood.
Osmosis takes place and the contents of the cell are exerting a pressure on the plasma membrane. The plasma membrane actually presses against the cell wall.
Cell wall.
In that condition, that turgor pressure is the one because of which the cell becomes very stiff and erect.
Okay, okay.
Now, according to Newton's third law of motion, okay, to every action there is an equal and opposite reaction.
Yes, yes, correct.
So when the
every action
are exerting a pressure on the wall of the cell, there is an equal and opposite pressure from the wall onto the cell contents also.
Correct. Yes.
Almost magnitude wise equal and opposite force. Equal magnitude, opposite in direction.
Yes.
Pressure is applied by the cell wall on the cell contents.
By the cell wall on the cell contents.
The cell contents. Yes. That pressure is known as the wall pressure.
Wall pressure.
Yes.
What is wall pressure?
See, turgor pressure you have understood?
Yes.
Right? When the contents of the cell are exerting a pressure on the wall of the cell.
Yes.
That is turgor pressure. So when the wall of the cell exerts an equal and opposite force on the cell contents,
yes,
it is called wall pressure.
Wall pressure. Okay, got it. Okay. Yes, yes, understood.
So the turgor pressure and the wall pressure, the interplay between both of them determines what exactly is the condition of the turgidity of the cell.
Oh, okay. Okay, got it.
So magnitude wise, if the TP is equal to WP, same value.
Oh, yes.
So whatever is the turgor pressure is the same as the cell pressure. The cell is said to be fully turgid, proper.
Oh, okay. Okay, got it.
Equal and opposite balanced ho gaya, na? It's like, suppose, imagine, simple example, you take a balloon.
Yes.
And you blow air into it. Before you are blowing an air, the balloon is like very shrink, pichka hua rehta.
Yeah.
Correct. But when you start blowing air into it, what happens? You see the balloon swelling up.
Yes.
So what you are exerting on the wall of the balloon is turgor pressure.
Okay, 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 got it. I got it. Yes.
Okay. The wall of the balloon is also exerting a reverse force, wall pressure. So till the time that turgor pressure and the wall pressure is equal, the balloon remains swollen. But if you keep on blowing air into it more than a limit, then what will happen? The balloon will. The same thing for us. Okay, if there is more and more end osmosis taking place continuously, that means you are giving more than the required supply of water to it, the cell will burst. Or in physiological terms, if the pressure is more than the wall pressure, the cell will swell and burst.
Oh, okay. Got it. I got it. Yes, I got it.
Answer properly. Okay.
Yes.
Now consider the reverse situation. Consider the reverse situation. If the wall pressure is more than the turgor pressure,
okay.
if the wall pressure is more than the turgor pressure, what will happen? So we have seen two conditions. If Tp
Yeah,
is equal to WP, the cell is fully turgid.
correct.
If Tp is greater than WP, the cell swells and bursts.
Yes.
The Tp is less than WP, what will happen?
What will happen? Then it will.
Imagine the situation when you have taken a balloon before blowing the air into it. How was it?
Very light.
Lightning, shrink.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So same way for the cell, when there is very less or no water inside it, the cell is shrunken because wall pressure is more than the turgor pressure.
Yes. Yes.
In that
Correct.
case, the cell will be shrunken and flaccid. That's a correct word to use. Opposite
Flaccid?
is flaccid. FLACCID.
What is flaccid?
Shrink.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Flaccid matlab shrunken. Now you
Okay,
understood.
got it.
That is the reason.
Yes.
Understand this in terms of turgor pressure and wall pressure.
Okay, got it.
Now, how this
Yes.
turgor pressure and wall pressure is associated with absorption of water by the roots?
How?
Imagine the root hair is in contact with the water in the soil.
Correct.
So the amount of water that must enter the root hair is determined by the turgor pressure and wall pressure in the root hair cell.
Ah.
Amount of water is given. What will happen to the root hair cell? It will
Yes, sir.
burst. It won't be able to
Yes.
absorb an element. If you
Yes,
give
yes, yes, correct. Oh, yes, sir. It will burst.
yes.
Yes.
Did you understand? That's how we are correlating all these terms with absorption.
Okay, got it.
So let's take a look at this further. Turgor pressure ka significance.
Significant.
Yes. It maintains turgidity and rigidity in a plant cell. Rigidity is what the phenomenon whereby a plant cell resists any change in its shape.
Yes.
उसको बोलते हैं rigidity.
Yes, yes. Correct.
Turgidity, now you have understood. When a cell is turgid, it means it is having proper amount of water so that the Tp is equal to WP.
Correct.
Recollect the example I mentioned earlier. Feel like you went out for 3 to 4 days and nobody had watered your plants.
Oh, yes, sir. Oh, hi.
Now
Yes,
you
okay.
now you understand that these two words, turgid, flaccid.
Yes, yes.
After 3 to 4 days,
Yes.
you come back and you look at the plant. It is turgid or flaccid
Turgid.
before you
Oh
water.
my god. After this, acid.
Correct. And then when you add water to
Shrink ho jata.
yes, when you add water to it, what happens?
Turgid.
Yes, the water enters the root hair, it enters all the cells, and you actually visualize that the leaves which are like this, now it has become erect, straight. Because
Correct.
the
Yes.
cell has got sufficient amount of water and turgor pressure has been brought back to normal. Balance
Correct.
pressure. So next time when
Yes.
you observe such a phenomenon, recollect this. Turgor pressure, wall pressure. Getting
Yeah.
it?
Okay.
Okay.
Correct.
Yeah. Then secondly, because of turgor pressure, the structural integrity of the cell and its organelles are maintained.
Huh?
Structural integrity means the shape and the size of the cell.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Not only the entire cell, even the organelles like chloroplast, mitochondria,
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
vacuoles, they also have their own membranes. No?
Oh. How cool.
If the
Yes.
vacuoles are shrunken, if the protoplast, if the plastids are shrunken, their functioning will be affected.
Yes.
So that's why the structural integrity is also necessary. That is brought about
Yes.
by
Correct. Turgor pressure. TP.
then when the cell is in a growing stage, meristematic, those cells which are constantly dividing. So when they are constantly dividing, new cells are formed So the newly formed cells are initially small in size, but then they will have to grow in size.
Yes.
This is cell enlargement. Cell enlargement. The turgor pressure has to be more so that the primary cell walls are stretched and the cell increases in size.
Yes, correct.
So that is brought about by turgor pressure again.
Okay.
Then there are other phenomena in the plants like stomatal opening and closing.
Stomatal. Yes.
Where are they found?
The plant.
Very fun. Where in the plants?
There.
What? Answer quickly, come on. Where do you find the stomata in the plants? There are various places where you find them. Tell the name of any one location where you find stomata. Very important, come on.
Stomata is found.
They are small pores which can open and close and present on the, mainly on the,
Wait, stomata. Stomata is present
on the leaves.
leaves.
Getting it? Answer properly. Look, plants, and obviously it is about plants. This entire
Yes.
is completely based on plants. Got it?
Yes.
So the stomatal opening and closing. So there are small pores present on the surface of the leaf, on the epidermis of the leaf.
Epidermis.
So they have the, see this stomata, they are surrounded by two cells which are called the guard cells.
Guard cell. Guard
The
cell.
opening in between them is called a stoma. Plural is stomata. We will see in detail in the transpiration part of the lesson again. But for now, you understand that these pores present on the surface of the leaf are responsible for exchange of gases.
Exchange of gases?
Yes.
Oh.
So this stomata has got the property of opening and closing as per the requirement. So guard cells turgid or flaccid according to which the stomata opens and closes.
Okay, got it.
So the turgor pressure and the wall pressure inside the guard cells, they manipulate accordingly so that during the night time the stomata can close, during the daytime the stomata can open.
Yes, correct.
Similarly, in the case of many plants, you must have seen, especially if you see plants like gulmohar and all, after sunset, the leaflets they close. Morning sunrise, you see them open. Folding. Those plants which have compound leaves, especially.
Yes.
So that is again because of differences in the turgor pressure.
Turgor pressure. Oh, okay.
You know Mimosa pudica.
It is. Touch me not.
You know Mimosa pudica, commonly called?
तो क्या बोलते हैं?
क्या बोलते हैं?
Mimosa pudi.
Mimosa pudica is the scientific name. What is the common name?
Yes.
Touch me not. Do you recollect that?
Mimosa pudica.
Do you
I
recollect?
said touch me not plant.
You said?
Yes, I did.
Achha, ठीक है. Touch me not plant. Okay. Also known as the chui mui plant, sharmili plant, alag alag. Okay, because when you touch it,
Who named it?
as you can see. But actually, we know very well that for Sharma कुछ नहीं रहा है, plants के लिए ऐसा नहीं है. It is only about difference in the turgor pressure, and that is responsive stimulus of touch. All these are examples where you can see. ये देखो stomatal opening and closing.
Stomatal opening, yes.
All examples of process in plants where you can see turgor pressure is helpful.
Yes.
Understood the importance of turgor pressure properly?
Yes.
Now, if you remember, mentioned about diffusion. Diffusion के time पे we had mentioned about something called diffusion pressure.
Diffusion pressure. हाँ.
Diffusion pressure के साथ एक और टर्म हमने मेंशन किया था called diffusion pressure deficit. DPD.
DPD. Ha.
Diffusion pressure of a pure water and diffusion
Yes, pure.
pressure of a given sample of water. That difference is known as DPD.
DPD. Yes.
Formula DPD is equal to osmotic pressure minus turgor pressure.
What?
Yes. Osmotic pressure means what? Osmosis में हमने बताया था.
Ha. Osmosis.
Which is required to prevent the passage of solvent across the semi-permeable membrane.
Yes.
That is called osmotic pressure.
Yes.
Osmotic pressure and turgor pressure का जो difference है, that is not DPD.
Oh.
Pressure deficit. Remember this. ये सब formula वगैरह सब आते हैं questions.
Okay. Fine. Got it.
Now, if a cell is fully turgid, proper, if TP is the same as WP,
So we can also say it like.
formula में TP को replace करो, DPD becomes OP minus WP.
Yes. Yeah.
The soil is fully turgid cell. Or this formula also.
Okay. Got it.
Cell is flaccid, shrunken.
Plastic.
So in that case, the TP is 0. According to this formula, TP अगर 0 हो गया, तो DPD is the same as OP. If a cell is
OP? Oh, OP. Yes.
because TP 0 हो गया ना,
Ah, yes.
the cell is
Yes.
flaccid. Now if a cell
Yes.
is turgid, then DPD becomes 0.
Yes, correct.
Turgid cell में osmotic pressure and turgor pressure is the same. So OP and TP
Okay.
value, तो दोनों का difference है 0.
Okay, got it.
So DPD is 0.
Okay, got
So
it.
all these points can be asked as probable MCQ questions. In a flaccid cell, TP is dash. In a turgid cell, DPD is dash. In a turgid
Yes.
cell, TP is equal to dash. ऐसे करके सब
Okay, yes.
possible है. So you have to
Yes,
understand this concept. So understood
Okay.
about turgor pressure and its correlation with diffusion pressure, osmotic pressure, deficit, everything.
Yes, understood.
Okay. So this also you have
Interconnected.
to understand very well. Okay. Okay. Now let's go on to the next part. Is something called diffusion.
Diffusion.
Yes, but facilitated diffusion.
Oh, I thought you felicitated it.
Facilitated diffusion. This part is about translocation of the ions and molecules across the plasma membrane.
Translocation. Oh.
The plasma membrane. See, ऐसा समझ. See, plant cells में cell wall is there, thick one, and उसके अंदर plasma membrane.
Yes.
Okay, cell wall, as I said, is a freely permeable layer. That means it will allow anything and everything to cross the cell. तो कोई भी
Yes, correct.
molecules वगैरह जो भी है सब इसके आर पार आसानी से आ जाए.
Yes,
But
correct.
when it comes to plasma membrane, that's a living layer. So ions and molecules will be selectively allowed to enter the plasma membrane or to move out of the plasma membrane.
Yes, correct.
So we are talking about this part now. Okay, in the root hair cell, when the water from the soil is entering the root hair, along
Yes.
with water, there are many ions and molecules of mineral elements from the soil, which are also entering the plant.
Ah.
वो रूट के वो सेल के अंदर प्लाज्मा मेम्ब्रेन को पार करते हुए सेल के अंदर कैसे जाएंगे?
Oh, okay. Correct.
Talking about. So
Okay, got it.
there is something called passive absorption.
Passive.
Absorption. Okay, one is passive absorption, other one is active absorption.
Of course, yes.
Active absorption का मतलब है the elements or molecules are absorbed by spending some energy.
Okay, okay.
It is
Okay.
active absorption. Passive absorption मतलब when no energy is spent, it comes automatically without any spending of energy.
Ulta. Okay, got it.
membrane. If you recollect 11th standard fluid mosaic model of the plasma membrane, याद है?
Yes.
So fluid mosaic model में you have seen that plasma membrane is chemically a phospholipid bilayer.
Phospholipid, yes, correct. Yes, I remember.
Layers, and it is interspersed by a lot of protein molecules.
Correct. Yes.
Plasma membrane के surface पे there are many protein molecules present which can act as carriers or mediators. Okay, the molecules of the ions have to get attached to those proteins on the plasma membrane, and then they will carry it inside or outside.
Okay, got it.
For facilitated diffusion. Got it? Another correlate, a simpler example. Okay, now you stay at Kanjurmarg. So railway station is just outside your building, right? So railway station के अंदर cross करके जाने के लिए there are two ways. If you want to climb the bridge, either take the stairs and you can take the escalator.
Yes.
Now correlate the both of them with active absorption, passive absorption.
I got it.
In the stairs, you are climbing yourself, so you are spending energy. Getting it? So you are reaching the top of the bridge. Facilitated diffusion मतलब क्या? For escalator, you don't have to spend energy.
Yeah, no.
On the escalator, and it is automatically you are being carried.
Yes.
Both the cases, you are reaching the bridge.
Yes.
प्लाज्मा मेम्ब्रेन में कुछ है जो स्टेयरकेस का काम कर रहे हैं, कुछ है जो एस्केलेटर का काम कर रहे हैं.
Yes, correct. Got it.
Building. If I want to reach your house, so I can take the stairs or I can take the lift.
Yes.
का मतलब है facilitated diffusion. Staircase मतलब active absorption.
Correct. Yes.
Okay now. Okay.
Yeah.
These examples which I am giving, like the lift or the escalator, they are nothing but carriers. Because you from one side to the other side. This type of absorption that is going on for the solutes across the plasma membrane, then it is called facilitated diffusion.
Yes, correct.
Those substances which are hydrophilic, which can bond with water. Hydrophilic. Okay, so which can bond with water. It's not like oil and water. Immiscible हो जाएंगे. ऐसे substance को facilitated नहीं कर सकते.
Okay.
Observe this diagram very carefully. ये ऊपर वाला chart है. Okay, see, this is the plasma membrane being shown.
Yes.
Okay, you can see the phospholipid bilayer. एक सर दो पैर. Right? You can see two layers of that.
Yes.
That's the phospholipid part. And in between, you can see these protein molecules.
Oh yes, protein molecules.
Both they are present on the plasma membrane.
Yes.
Now, consider this first case. ये एक molecule है.
Okay.
Has to be brought inside the cell.
Okay.
Okay, so if it is crossing the phospholipid bilayer on its own, then it is called simple diffusion. Simple diffusion.
Yes.
There are certain proteins on the plasma membrane which are called channel proteins. Channel का मतलब
channel
is created.
Okay.
A kind of a passage is created.
Oh, okay, correct.
So molecules can just cross that passage and come inside. So
that's it. Okay.
It is simple diffusion. तो जब पानी absorb होगा, पानी के साथ साथ molecules भी आ जाते हैं.
Of course, yeah.
Another condition, second way, कि there are certain other proteins on the plasma membrane which do not function like channels. They function like carriers.
Okay.
Carriers का मतलब क्या? As the name suggests, it will catch the molecule, it will carry it inside. The molecule
Oh, okay.
will
Got it.
actually
Got it.
bond physically with that protein and it will go inside. It's like imagine
Okay.
the food is being passed through the esophagus, peristalsis.
Yes. Correct.
Yes.
Yes.
In such cases, okay, in both these cases, there is no energy which is spent.
Mm-hmm.
It is not against the concentration gradient. यहाँ
Yes.
concentration उसका ज्यादा है, अंदर कम है, तो ऑटोमेटिक आ ही जाता है. No energy is spent. It is in the direction of the electrochemical gradient.
Mm-hmm.
Gradient मतलब difference. Solute बाहर ज्यादा है,
Yes.
अंदर कम है, तो आना ही है अंदर उसको.
Yes.
That's why it is a passive transport.
Yes. Correct.
Diffusion, channel proteins, carrier proteins are examples of passive transport. Okay, so understood the meaning of passive transport. Okay, simple diffusion, channel protein, carrier protein. Okay,
Yes.
in the direction of electrochemical gradient. That's why it is a passive transport across the plasma membrane. Okay. Yes, there is another way. Now, sometimes it becomes a requirement that some solutes, okay, or molecules, they need to be transported against the concentration gradient. That means, see this part, कि यहाँ पे solute concentration कम है and outside it is more. Still, for the requirement of the plant at that time, this solute molecule needs to be transported to the outside. That means from a low concentration to high concentration.
Okay. Yes. Low concentration to the yes.
Yes. In that case, there will be energy required to spend.
Oh, okay. Got it.
That's why some proteins are also there on the plasma membrane, which act as pumps.
Okay. Pump.
The solute from one side to the other using energy. In that case, it is said to be active absorption.
Okay.
Understood the difference?
Understood.
Okay. So active absorption means like you have to, example, if you want to enter into a crowded train.
Okay.
It is
I want to.
absorption. It is active absorption because you are spending energy to push yourself inside.
Yes.
Already inside a crowded train, and if the train reaches a station like Ghatkopar, so you don't have to spend energy to come out. If you just stand in the middle of the crowd, you will be automatically pushed out. Then it is passive absorption. Now
yes, correct.
Molecules ka waste. Getting it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now there are certain such proteins on the plasma membrane, okay, which are specially created for the transport of water molecules.
Water molecules, yes.
Channel proteins, but especially for water molecules, तो उनको बोलते हैं aquaporins.
What are aquaporins?
Aqua means the channel proteins on the plasma membrane through which water molecules are transported.
Okay, got it.
Water, no? Aquarium.
Aquaporins.
Understood this point? Both
yes,
the here, all the types of membrane proteins, and understood the broader picture. What exactly are we talking about?
Yes, understood.
Absorption is taking place. We are still talking about absorption, remember. Absorption of water with the dissolved minerals from the roots.
Correct. Yes.
In contact with the soil, and the soil is having the water along with the dissolved minerals, which are absorbed in the form of ions.
Ions, yes.
It enters the cell. While entering the cell, it has to cross the plasma membrane.
Yes.
So that is the part we have spoken about here, because that is also a part of absorption.
Yes, correct.
That was facilitated diffusion or absorption. Now there is another concept, something called water potential.
WP.
Now this is also WP, but do not confuse this WP with the earlier one, that was wall pressure.
Okay, yes, of course.
Water potential.
But yes, I might get confused.
So you just remember the full forms.
Okay, fine. Yes.
Okay, full form दिया.
Water potential.
WP नहीं देंगे. They will mention the full form.
Okay.
So see, basically, this is slightly bit of chemistry over here. Water, in the beginning of this lesson, we have seen the properties of water, about its uniqueness, why it is important for life. Correct?
Yes.
When you see water, it has its own chemical potential.
Yes.
Okay, chemical potential का मतलब क्या है? In chemistry, you learn about this free energy per mole of water.
Yes.
Okay, free energy per mole of water present in a system of constant pressure and temperature.
And temperature. Yes.
NTP, normal temperature and pressure. Okay, so under normal conditions of temperature and pressure, whatever free energy is there in water per mole of it, that free energy is the one which is available by the water for doing some work. Free energy, that means it is not bound with something else. It is always available for doing some work. So that or the kinetic energy of the water is called chemical potential. And because it is the chemical potential of water, it is called water potential.
Okay, got it.
Got it? Okay.
Yes.
So free energy कैसे generate होता है? In a system of water, there are water molecules H2O, H2O, H2O. Those molecules are colliding among themselves.
Oh.
In the system. Okay, water in the liquid. Okay, the molecules are slightly movable. So they are colliding among themselves. So during that collision, there is this free energy liberated.
Oh, okay, got it.
Chemical potential of water. Okay. So under normal constant temperature and pressure, the chemical potential, how much of that chemical potential exists in that system, it depends upon number of moles of the substance which is present in that system.
Yes, correct.
Got it? So that is the concept of potential over here. Okay? Water potential. So it's like in this, you can see in this picture, it is shown in a normal mesophytic plant. Okay, the roots are under the soil. Okay, the soil is there in the roots, the stem, the leaves, and the atmosphere. So you can values of the pressure which is there inside the system. Soil water has got a pressure of around minus 0.3 to minus 15 bars.
Yes.
Have around minus 3 to minus 20. Leaves में minus 15 to minus 30 approximately. So they have to maintain that pressure between the living system as well as the atmosphere.
Okay, got it.
That's why water potential also comes into picture. Okay, so this water potential, it was put forward by Ralph Slater and Sterling Taylor. Now don't say that you know that.
Okay.
Okay, these two people have the term water potential. ये साइंटिस्ट लोगों के नाम सब याद रखना. ठीक है?
Okay, Sterling Taylor.
Sterling Taylor. Okay.
Okay.
It's like actually what is this water potential? The chemical potential of the water, that concept we have just seen. So chemical potential of water in the given system and chemical potential of pure water. The difference between them is nothing but the water potential.
Okay, got it.
So you must remember that pure water, what we say over here, is actually a hypothetical concept. There is nothing called pure water. Yes. Chemically or scientifically, pure water का meaning क्या है? If I am having a sample of water and I say it is pure, in layman's terms we say कि वो clean water है, we can drink it and all. But ideally, pure water का meaning क्या है? कि in that system, if I am saying that it's pure water, it means every molecule in that system should be only water molecule, no other molecule present.
Oh.
So that pure water is something which you will hardly get, because any sample of water you take from anywhere on the earth, you will always get some impurity in it. 0.001% सही, but वो impurity रहेगा. there will be some other solute present in it. That's why pure water को ideal मानते हैं, and that will compare or take a difference with the water in the system that is available. The difference is the chemical potential.
Yes, correct.
So that cannot be measured directly. That's why it is a comparative value. So we assume, yes, we assume that the chemical potential of pure water as zero, because
Zero?
the maximum water potential any water sample can have. So वो pure water का है. Okay, so accordingly the water potential can become negative or positive. It is ideally negative.
Okay. Okay.
So zero है. Getting it? So it is measured unit of pressure. That's why in the earlier picture, as I showed you, जो pressure के value -0.5 bars ऐसे लिखा हुआ था ना?
हाँ, yes.
का water potential है. In the soil, in the leaves, in the atmosphere. So water potential is measured in either bars or something called megapascal. Okay, तो इन दोनों के बीच में रिलेशन क्या है? 1 megapascal is equal to 10 bars. These values you have to remember. Okay, 1 megapascal is equal to 10 bars. And water potential is denoted by a Greek letter which is called as psi. ये त्रिशूल जैसा एक symbol है. It's a Greek letter called psi. PSI, P silent. Okay, that is a symbol for water pressure and water potential. That's why WP is written as psi W. W indicates water potential. Is it clear? Okay. So after understanding the concept of water potential, let's talk about its significance for the plant. So that's a physiological property of water we have discussed, right? Now,
Yes.
important for the plants. So because of the water potential, we are able to understand the water status of a plant. It's a
Correct. Yes.
overall water status. How much less water, how much water, what are the solutes dissolved in it, everything we come to know. Water potential to give an indication, right? So about the plants and its tissue. So it's like overall as a conclusion we can say lower is the water potential, greater is the ability of the plant to absorb the water.
Oh, okay.
So water potential value is less, that means the plant can absorb more water.
More, yes, correct.
The water potential value is high, that means the plant is having the greater ability to supply water to other cells.
Okay, yes, yes, okay.
That's why water potential is an indicator of water stress in a plant.
Water stress?
Yes.
Okay, okay.
How much is stress level due to water? See, plants also face a lot of stress.
Oh no, that is sad. Okay, fine.
Because plants के लिए सबसे बड़ा challenge क्या है? Wherever they start growing, that is where they have to grow for the entire life.
Yes, yes, you are right.
The environment then and there itself.
Yes.
And stress is because of two main factors. All the resources which are necessary for the growth of plants, like oxygen, heat, or water. Okay, all these, if they are available in normal amounts, then it is favorable for the growth of plant.
Normal amount म्हणजे? Oh yes.
So थोड़ा आगे पीछे ठीक है, but if it becomes too much on the lower side or too much on the higher side, both are stress causing. कि plants को light चाहिए, but जरूरत से ज़्यादा problem, जरूरत से कम दिया तो भी problem. Then it's a stress.
Correct.
Here, potential indicates the water stress in a plant. Having very less water or very high amount of water which is not required.
Yes, correct.
Water potential becomes a tool in order to explain the concept of osmosis and turgor pressure. And it is turgor pressure that we are able to explain the water movement in the plants. Water
Yes,
is
correct.
plant. Some part of it is stationary. It will remain inside the cell. But there is a lot of plant which is circulating. And from the soil,
Circulating.
from the root, it enters the xylem. From the xylem, it goes through the stem to the leaves to the mesophyll.
Yes, yes,
Circulation of
yes,
water
yes.
going on. So movement of water inside the plant can be explained properly because of water potential, osmosis, and turgor pressure.
Turgor pressure. Okay, okay. I got it. I got it.
The difference in the chemical potential of water on one side of the plasma membrane and on the other side. That means inside the plant cell and outside the plant cell.
Correct.
The major factor because of which there is movement of ions from the soil to the plant or from the plant cell to the soil. So ions का जो movement अभी हमने जो देखा facilitated diffusion, channel protein,
Yes.
real protein, forms and all.
Yes.
It also
Yes.
depends on the chemical potential of water inside and outside the cell.
Okay, I got it. Okay, I got it. I got
It
it.
is also about the movement of ions and molecules across the membranes.
It's
That's
a awesome membrane. Okay.
significant. Understood the concept of potential properly?
Understood. Understood.
So ultimately, as a conclusion, okay, at the end of this process called absorption of water and ions into the plant, what are the overall factors which affects the water absorption? Okay, first
Yes.
is presence of capillary water, which is essential.
Capillary water.
The four types of water in the soil which can be available for the plants. Yeah, then gravity.
Oh yes, yes, yes. Yes, yes, yes.
Water, combined water, and capillary.
Yes.
So out of all of them, as we have mentioned last time, capillary water is one which is available for the plants for absorption.
Yes.
तो होगा नहीं तो absorption ही नहीं होगा.
Absorption ही नहीं होगा. Yes.
That's why it is essential. Okay. Second,
Essential. Okay.
absorption is found to be maximum or optimum at a temperature around 20 to 30 degrees Celsius.
Okay, 20 to 30.
About soil temperature. Okay, the soil should not be ideally see 20 से नीचे मतलब 19 18 में गया तो इतना इफेक्ट नहीं होगा या 30 36 तक okay, but maximum this doesn't mean that 20 से कम and 30 से ऊपर absorption बंद हो जाएगा. It will decrease.
Oh, okay, got it, got it, got it.
So that will happen at temperature around 20 to 30 degree, optimum temperature.
20 to 30 degrees. Yes.
Okay, and
yes, okay.
Absorption of water will be reduced if there is high concentration of solutes in the water. So if the soil water is highly concentrated, if there are too many ions, molecules and substances dissolved in the soil water, then the rate of absorption is reduced.
Okay.
जितना solutes उसमें dissolve होगा उतना कम absorption होगा.
उतना कम होएगा. Yes, correct. Got it.
There should be no solutes at all. There has to be the presence of solutes in the soil, but up to a certain concentration. Otherwise, it will be hypertonic and absorption will be affected.
Got it.
Then absorption is also dependent upon the transpiration rate.
Oh, okay, okay.
Transpiration rate. Okay, now we are going to learn about transpiration in detail, but you know very well that from the aerial parts of the plants, especially the leaves,
yes,
is water which is evaporated out.
Yes.
That is transpiration, the evaporative loss of water from the aerial parts.
Yes.
So if there is more of transpiration going on, absorption will also increase.
Okay, got it, got it. Okay.
Transpiration rate. It's like imagine if you are having water. Okay, so you that coconut and give you. There will be coconut water inside. You will place the
Okay.
you will place the straw in it. So straw.
And then I'll drink it.
If you want to drink that coconut water, what will you do?
What will I do? I will drink it.
What will you drink?
Straw डाल के पिएगा.
So after placing the straw, you will place your mouth at the top of the straw
Huh?
and then you will start
Yes, of course.
getting it.
Yes, that is
So,
how it is.
just keep your
Yeah.
mouth at the top of the straw. Will the coconut water come into your mouth?
No.
So you are exerting.
Oh,
You are
got it.
exerting your full.
Okay, got
What
it.
is happening at the top of the straw because of which the water is entering your mouth? That is transpiration.
Yes.
Because of that, because you are pulling the liquid up, so from below the straw is absorbing the liquid inside it. Imagine the same thing for a plant.
Correct. Plant, yes, of course.
It's
Okay,
more
okay, got it.
absorption over
I
it.
got it.
Inside the
Yes,
straw happening is translocation.
translocation, yes.
Now you understood this. So the
Yes,
more
HSA.
transpiration rate, the more will be the absorption taking place.
Absorption, yes, correct.
Okay? And if the soil is poorly aerated,
Hmm.
soil के अंदर soil air होता है, that between the soil particles there has to be good
Okay.
air supply.
Uh,
That's why sometimes it happens that at home, even if you have a potted plant, good quality soil, everything is there, you're watering it, the plant looks dry.
yes.
You're supposed to do for that, you have to slightly turn and break the soil so that the air supply within the soil is enhanced.
Oh, okay. Okay, okay.
Absorption becomes better.
Okay, got it.
Continuous water,
Oh, मेरे को समझा. Okay, I got it. समझ गया मैं.
very big hard
Yes.
mass. तो अंदर वो aeration
हाँ.
हो जाता है. तो roots are
Yes.
suffocating because of that. उसके लिए soil
Ah.
करना जरूरी. That's why in the agricultural fields and all you see the farmers plowing and turning the soil before the next sowing. So
Yes, 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 yes. हाँ.
and there is good amount of aeration within the soil. That is
Aeration.
for good absorption.
Yes.
Yes, all these are the major important factors that affect the absorption of water from the soil into the roots.
Into the roots. Okay. Very good.
Absorption
Yes,
of water
fine.
by the roots of plants. The total physiology is clear to you.
Yes, clear.
Okay.
Perfectly clear.
Plant water relationship सबसे important पहला process, that is absorption.
Oh, really? Okay.
Okay, that part we have
Yes.
completed now. ठीक है? Any doubt?
Yes. No doubt.
Okay.
No, no, no doubt.
और absorption, इसका example देखना absorption का. Very interesting example. Okay. कि plants कितना पानी absorb करते हैं. There was this person, a botanist called H.J. Dittmer in 1937.
What is his name? Echebitna.
Yes.
Yeah.
1937 में एक botanist था. He had just calculated for a rye plant. Okay. अपना
Okay.
mustard plant, you know that. ठीक है?
Okay.
What he did, rye plant में, he took a 4-month-old rye plant.
Okay, fine. Wow. How cute.
4-month-old rye plant के जो roots हैं, include all the root hair. Approximately total root length calculate किया. So 4 महीने के plant में aggregate root length was found to be around 600 kilometer in just one plant.
What? Huh?
Okay. 4 महीने के rye plant में, if I am taking out the roots, all the parts of the roots, including all the root hair, as you can see in this third picture here. ये दिख रहा है?
Yes.
अगर मैं एक
Oh, yeah.
अगर मैं लेंथ वाइज लगाते जाऊं तो I can get a length of.
Oh, how cool.
Imagine how much the plant is having the adaptation to absorb the water.
Yes.
Estimate number of root hairs in the plant in just a 4-month-old rye plant was around more than 14 billion.
Yes, yes.
Okay, and the total length estimated would even exceed 10,000 kilometers.
Yes, correct.
Imagine just a small herbaceous plant like this one is having so much root length. So what will happen for huge trees?
Correct. Yes.
Absorption by the plants is at a very high level because plants के लिए सबसे ज़्यादा requirement.
Correct.
This is the level of adaptation you can observe.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
Example, absorption का. Okay. Absorption properly.
Yes, very clear.
हमने ये देखा कि रूट हेयर के थ्रू soil water enters the root hair. Okay.
Yes,
Now the next important step before the translocation. रूट हेयर से ही डायरेक्ट लीफ में नहीं जाएगा.
correct.
Correct. Okay. अगर ये this is the PS of a root. Okay.
Yes.
PS of a plant, if you see, ये root का covering है which is called epidermis.
Epidermis, yes,
From
correct.
the epidermis, as you saw, there is a root hair coming.
Huh? Wait, oh, yes, yes.
You have seen the structure of the root hair in the last section. याद है root hair का structure?
Yes, I remember. मेरे को याद है.
So from the cell of the epidermis itself, there is an outgrowth called the root hair.
Yes, yes.
This is where the water is absorbed.
Correct. Yes.
Below the epidermis, there is a 4 to 5 cells layer of cortex.
Cortex. Oh, yes.
Consists of parenchymatous cells.
Yes. Correct.
The last layer of the cortex is called endodermis.
Endodermis. Yes.
After that's a single layer, endodermis. Next to the endodermis,
yes.
on the inner side, there is a layer called pericycle.
Pericycle. Yes.
Pericycle is the covering layer of the vascular bundles.
Oh, okay, okay.
After which you have the xylem and the phloem cells.
Of course, xylem and phloem.
ये root के internal structure के बारे में बताया. Now the thing is, see, till now whatever points that we have discussed was about how the water from the soil enters the root hair, along with ions and molecules also from the soil enters the root hair.
Correct.
Okay, so root hair के अंदर तो आ गया.
Yes.
Now the next point is, from the root hair, this same water and the dissolved materials must go all to the xylem. Because only when it goes to the xylem, then it will be able to be conducted upwards all the way to the stem and the leaf.
Oh, right, you're right, you're right. Yes.
ये lateral conduction हो रहा है यहाँ पर. From the sides or the periphery of the root, it has to go to the inner part of the root.
Yes, correct.
Then it will be conducted upwards. So this also is a part of absorption.
Yes, correct.
Okay, so as you can see over here with the arrow marks, the soil water यहाँ से अंदर गया root hair में, from the epidermis crossing the cells of the cortex, it will reach the endodermis, followed by the pericycle, followed by the xylem.
Correct. Yes.
So for path of water across the root, there are two different ways.
Okay. Yes.
One of them is called apoplast and the other one is called symplast.
Symplast and apoplast. Okay.
See, apoplast का मतलब क्या है? You can see here apoplastic path लिखा है ना?
Yes.
Root hair, this is the one. ये epidermis. Just follow that blue line which is shown.
Blue line. Oh, this one. Yes, blue line.
The root hair, the epidermis, the cortex, endodermis, ultimately followed by xylem. If you see the blue line carefully, the blue line is not entering inside any cell.
Oh, yes, correct. You're right.
Crossing the path between the cells.
Yes.
Between the cells. Those spaces are there between the cells. It is crossing through. So when water goes by like that, it is not entering into any cell. It is just crossing the spaces in between and then reaching the xylem. उसको बोलेंगे apoplast.
Correct. Yes.
The root hair,
okay, got it.
Epidermis, cortex, endodermis, pericycle, xylem.
Okay, got it.
The water is entering it. This is one of the ways in which water from the root hair reaches the xylem.
Okay. Yes.
Symplast का मतलब है the water will go. See the red line over here.
The red line here. Yes.
Symplast means the water
yes.
going inside the cells.
Yes.
From
Correct.
one cell to the other, because there is plasmodesmatal connection between the cells.
हाँ. Yes.
एक सेल के अंदर जाएगा प्लाज्मोडेस्माटा से दूसरे बगल वाले सेल में. It will cross like that.
Yes.
And that will be in one
Correct.
of two ways. एक है vacuolar, the other one is transmembrane.
Okay. Transmembrane. Yes.
The cell and cross thread through the vacuoles. Transmembrane will be entering via the membranes.
Via the membranes. Oh, how cool.
Getting it? Then it is called
Yes. Getting it.
Understood the difference?
Okay. समझा. Yes. Understood. समझ गया.
Now one more thing observe over here. See root hairs अंदर आया.
Correct.
The water must go only to the xylem. Phloem is
Yes.
not in water conduction.
Wait. What? नहीं समझा.
Phloem tissue जो है, it is not involved in water conduction.
Oh yes.
Only conduction of the solutes.
हाँ. Correct.
एम क्या है कि जो soil water यहाँ पे enter हुआ, that must go only to the xylem tissue यहाँ पे.
Okay, I got it. ठीक है.
The structure over here, जो endodermis के बाद pericycle है, at many places there is phloem tissue also present over here. दिख रहा है?
Yes, I can see it. Yes.
The water from the root hair is entering. It can happen that the water will go to the phloem instead of the xylem.
Yes. हाँ.
इसके
I
अंदर
got it.
adaptation. There is a very wonderful adaptation for that. Okay, arrangement देखो. You can see hexagonal cells over here.
Yes, of course.
And only one of the cell is in contact with few cells of the pericycle and endodermis.
Okay, yes.
दिख रहा है?
Yes, दिख रहा है.
Soil water यहाँ पे आता है either via apoplast or symplast. In whichever way, it crosses the cortex and reaches the endodermis.
Endodermis, yes.
So only that particular cell of the endodermis which is in contact with the xylem, that means this one.
This one, yes.
एक ही है जो xylem से contact में, like exactly in the line of.
Yes, correct.
Particular cell is called passive cell.
Passive cell. Okay, got it.
Of the endodermis which is in contact with the xylem.
Yes.
अगर पानी होते हुए passage cell से आया, तो it will go into the xylem.
Correct. Okay, got it.
Suppose the water comes from this side, ऐसे करके आया, and if it goes to other endodermis cell by chance, it is possible.
It's possible.
The endodermis cell on one side, they will have a specialized deposition on their walls.
Okay,
yes,
got it.
Have a specialized deposition on their cell wall on the inner side. Which water, if it reaches over here, it will not allow it to cross that and reach the phloem.
What? Okay, got it. Wow.
Then it will slide over here and reach the passage cell, and then it will go.
Oh, I got it. This is so simple. Okay, I got it. समझ गया.
So वो जो endodermis के ऊपर एक deposition बना हुआ है, because of preventing the entry of water from the into the phloem, उसको बोलते हैं Casparium strip.
इसको बोलते हैं
Casparium strip.
Casparium.
Passage cells will not have any Casparium strip because the passage allow the entry of water into the xylem.
Oh yes. Okay. Got it.
समझा ये mechanism कि how the water is being ensured that it goes only into the xylem and not the phloem.
Phloem, yes.
समझा अच्छी तरह से?
Yes, अच्छी तरह से समझा.
Understood the difference between apoplast, symplast also?
हाँ, yes.
Yes. Okay. The mechanism of water absorption overall, if you say, it is either passive or active. Okay. Passive मतलब spending any energy.
हाँ.
Active matlab by spending energy, the water is absorbed.
Okay, I got it. I got it. I got it. Yes.
Absorption is of two types, osmotic या non-osmotic.
Non-osmotic. Okay.
Absorption का मतलब है energy spent, osmosis takes place, and then the water enters.
No, repeat.
Non-osmotic मतलब energy spent, water is absorbed, but not because of osmosis.
Oh, okay. Okay, got it.
So depending upon the actual situation of the plant, it will vary
Yes.
from one plant to another. It will vary for the same plant from one time to the other also.
Oh, okay, got it. Got it.
Plants. Now you see outside so many plants are there. Okay, like suppose the plant is out there near the road, and if there is a heavy rainfall going on, so sometimes it actually rains for many hours. So पानी कितना सारा मिल रहा है? So that
Yes.
will change. See, there is surplus amount of water available, so absorption will be regulated accordingly. But imagine a plant which is growing in a very dry and drought-like region. इसको बहुत मुश्किल से पानी मिल रहा है. So then its physiology will be different. It will also vary from one season to the other. Summer season में अलग है, winter में अलग है.
Yes, you're right.
Water present in the soil will vary. According to that, all mechanisms are there. Which one to be used at what time is decided by the plant accordingly.
Yes, correct.
Understood
Got
this?
it. Understood.
अच्छी तरह से.
अच्छी तरह से.
Okay. So
Yes.
passive absorption देखना क्या है? Passive absorption means it is the process of absorption of water through the roots and not by the roots. There is a difference.
Oh.
Through the roots, it will come without spending energy.
Without, yes.
The train has reached Ghatkopar.
Yes.
Side. So you are out of the train, but not by yourself, by the others.
Acha, okay. I got it.
Understood this? But if you want to enter the train, then you have to push in yourself.
Oh, okay.
Passive
I got
absorption.
it.
So through the roots, but not by the roots.
Yes, okay, got it.
For passive absorption, the main driving force is transpiration pull. ऊपर से transpiration हो रहा है, water loss हो रहा है. Okay. Every cell of the plant successively is losing water. Leaves में से transpiration हुआ, so leaf will absorb from the PTO.
Yes, okay, got it.
Yeah, so PTO will take water from the branch. Branch में पानी.
Okay, got it.
Branch will take water from the main stem.
Yeah.
हो गया तो there will
be got it.
main root. Main root में कम पड़ा तो it will take a pressure on the root hair कि और पानी चाहिए. So that's the transfer pull created. Imagine that coconut water phenomenon which I told you. Only when
yes. That is applicable. Yes.
That's the driving force. Getting it?
Okay, I got it.
Movement of water is in the line of the concentration gradient, and that's why there is no energy expenditure involved.
Okay, I got it. Now I got it. Yes.
You get down at Ghatkopar, you don't have to spend energy at all.
Yes.
You just have to stand, you will be out of the train.
Sir, okay, got it.
See, overall in the biological world, remember this point, organism. For any process, wherever the process is able to take place without spending energy, that will always be the first choice. Because
okay, got it.
Getting it? Okay. Energy conserve किए बिना नहीं possible हो रहा है, then the next option is okay, spend some energy and get that work done.
Okay.
So
I got it.
Plants, the maximum absorption is passive, 98%.
What? 98%
of absorption of water हो रहा है उसमें, it is passive because उसमें हो जा रहा है. Energy क्यों spend करने का unnecessarily? That's the law of dynamics. Unnecessary expenditure of energy has to be avoided.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Avoided.
Yes. That's why during the daytime, especially the passive absorption takes place because that is the time
Yes.
transpiration is in progress. Sunlight
अच्छा, okay, yes. You're right.
टोमेटा open है तो transpiration होता है. So that time maximum
हाँ,
absorption goes on. And
okay, got it.
it is the xylem vessel through which the translocation of water is going on.
Correct.
That xylem vessel with the straw which you have placed in the coconut.
हाँ,
So when you
yes.
see the water from the top, there is a tension in that straw created. Continuous water column
Tension.
नीचे से absorb हो रहा है, column बना हुआ है, ऊपर से transpiration हो.
हाँ, okay, yes.
Okay, so there is a negative water potential created and a tension in vessel also created.
Okay, got it. Yes, getting it.
That is going on. It does not affect the rate of respiration in plants.
Oh, it does not? Wow, okay, got it.
Respiration affect नहीं हो रहा है because energy नहीं है ना इसमें involved.
अच्छा, हाँ, energy नहीं है. हाँ, correct, yes.
Respiration कब affect होगा जब energy चाहिए रहेगा.
Energy चाहिए, yes, correct.
Absorption है ना. So rate of respiration is not affected. Understood?
Okay, got it. Easy. Got it. हाँ.
Okay. Now active absorption.
Okay.
Active absorption में two types as I said, osmotic and non-osmotic.
Non-osmotic, yes. Tell me.
Osmotic absorption was explained by Atkins and Priestley in 1922.
Who is that? Okay, fine.
Okay, we are not going into his personal details. Okay, osmotic absorption was explained by Atkins and Priestley. Remember that.
Okay.
Osmotic
Okay,
absorption.
I'll remember.
So here, because of an osmotic gradient, the water is absorbed into the xylem. Osmotic gradient.
Oh.
Hypotonic, hypertonic, ऐसा कुछ situation बन जाता है. That's why there is osmosis or exosmosis taking place.
Okay, got it.
And we are talking about active absorption. That means there is expenditure of energy involved.
Yes, of course.
The energy is used so that an osmotic gradient is created and osmosis takes absorption takes place.
Yes, okay. Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
Gradient is developed from the epiblema all the way to the pericycle. Epiblema is the other name.
Epiblema से pericycle, yes.
Root epidermis, cortex, endodermis, pericycle. In सब के बीच में difference created from one cell to the other. That's why the
got it.
The root hair. It goes from the epidermis to cortex to endodermis to pericycle and not the reverse.
Okay, yes.
उल्टा नहीं होता है because the gradient is in that direction.
Oh yes, gradient is that direction.
Because of active absorption. So that's why root cells के अंदर एक pressure बना हुआ रहता है. Of this gradient. That pressure in the root cell due to which the absorption takes place is called as root pressure, also called hydrostatic pressure.
What static? Hydrostatic.
Static pressure. Because
got it.
The water gets absorbed. And for all this energy is required. Okay. And that's
for all this
is forced to enter the pericycle to the xylem and then upwards.
Yes, correct.
Lateral conduction, फिर upward conduction.
Okay, got it.
Understood this? Okay.
Yes, understood.
समझ में आया कैसा हो रहा है?
अच्छे से समझा. Yes.
Similarly, active absorption, non-osmotic.
Okay, yes.
Explained by Kramer and Thimann in 1959.
हाँ. Yes.
Okay. So ये जो process है, it is active. There is energy expenditure involved, but it is non-osmotic.
Non-osmotic.
Okay, so water is absorbed from the soil against the concentration gradient.
Against the concentration gradient. Yes.
पानी low से high की तरफ जाना. That is against.
हाँ. Yes, you are right. हाँ.
So low जाए तो in the direction. Low से high जाए तो against. So sometimes the absorption is needed against the concentration gradient. Okay. So that's why energy is required and that is obtained by respiration.
Respiration.
So active absorption affects the respiration or is affected by getting it. But active is retarded if there is a less supply of oxygen to the plant.
Oh, okay, okay, got
ऑक्सीजन
it.
रहेगा तो रेस्पिरेशन बराबर होगा, रेस्पिरेशन
हाँ, yes.
एक्सपेंडिचर
हाँ,
होगा,
हाँ,
एनर्जी एक्सपेंडिचर से ही एक्टिव एब्जॉर्प्शन होगा. So if the supply of
correct.
is less, respiration is affected, less ATP is produced, and there is
Yes.
retardation of absorption.
Okay, got it. Very easy.
Temperature is low. Again, there is a absorption which is retarded.
Hmm.
Because low temperature, the respiration also decreases.
Correct. Yes.
Respiration for temperature is an important factor. Okay, and other
Yes.
these there are also metabolic inhibitors present. That means there are certain
Metabolic inhibitor.
in the cell. There are
क्या?
certain chemicals present within the cell which can inhibit
Within the cell.
absorption.
Oh, okay, got it.
Compounds or some other toxic compounds, they can inhibit
Yes.
process of absorption. So even if the temperature, oxygen, everything is fine, but if there are metabolic
हाँ.
present, the absorption is affected.
Okay. Oh,
Okay, so
I didn't
that
know
is
that.
about
Okay, got
active
it.
absorption by non-osmotic inhibitors.
Okay, got it.
Here properly.
Yes, clear.
We
Properly.
come to the end of the most important part of this process, that is absorption. So
Okay. Yes.
physiology of absorption of water and the solutes by the roots and its lateral
Yes.
conduction all the way to the xylem. Is it clear?
Yeah. Yes, clear. Very clear.
Okay. So
Yes.
now
It's
about the story of the plant water relation that we have seen, based on that, quickly answer some questions.
Oh no. Okay,
Answer
fine.
these questions and we can stop for today then. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
चलेगा.
First question.
Nice.
Follow. Water moves inside the plant from roots through the leaves through the
Xylem.
answer. Okay, properly.
Yes. Oh
It
yes. Sorry.
is
Xylem.
xylem. Correct.
Xylem. Yes.
Dash are not involved.
Dash are not involved in
Yeah.
facilitator.
Follow.
Ion chains. Aqua. नहीं ये था क्या उस पे? No. No. Wait. Let me. Aquaporins. Yes. Ion channels.
Answer is pumps.
How? Why?
Because pumps are the proteins which use energy for translocating ions and molecules. Ion channel.
Oh, you're right.
That's why
Okay. Yes.
related.
I should be so tiny. Yes. Okay. Got it.
Got it?
Yes. Got it. Plasmolysis in a cell occurs due to endomosis, exomosis, diffusion.
Exomosis. Exosmosis. Pronounce it properly. Answer can. What's the answer?
Wait 1 second. What is endo, exo और इसमें फर्क क्या है? Wait. I know the answer. 1 second, sir.
Yeah.
Water molecules move from region ऊपर से आता है तो exo
पूरा बोला एक्सो क्या?
exomosis.
Osmosis.
Exosmosis. Yes, I got it. Exosmosis.
Yes, got it. Next one.
Yes. Correct? Yes. Osmosis takes place when a cell in a this one. Endoosmosis takes place when a cell is placed in dash solution. Isotonic, hypotonic, hypertonic. Hyper is that, hypo is this, and iso में क्या आता है? Wait. Endosmosis takes place when a cell is placed.
Osmosis means the water will enter the cell. So for that to happen, cell should be placed in which type of solution? Yes.
Hyper or hypo? Once again, hyper may it is. Oh no, it is hypo. It is hypo. Yes, hypo. I got the difference. Yes,
Answer
समझ गया
is
मेरे को. Hypo. Yes,
hypo.
I'm damn sure. Hypo.
Correct.
Hypotonic. Yes.
Yes. Okay. Next.
I am right. I am right.
Good. Follow.
Yes, high five. Root hair in a plant arises from the dash, cortex, pericycle, or epiblema. Wait, cortex is नीचे. Oh no. इससे मेरे को फिर से वो cycle से
Easy
जाना पड़ेगा.
question. Root hair arises from yes, जल्दी.
The cortex नहीं आएगा. It is epiblema, right?
Correct. It is epiblema. Yes.
It is epiblema. पहले epiblema आता है.
Follow. Next.
The swelling of dry seeds when placed in water is because dash. Osmosis, imbibition, and diffusion. The swelling. This you told me, Abhi. The swelling of dry seeds when placed in water, balloon wala, water is because of osmosis.
Swelling of dry seeds. Dry
So
seeds.
wait, let me read it. Sir, wait, मैं ऐसे ही बोल रहा हूँ. Wait. Don't listen to me. What's it?
What's the answer?
One second. Diffusion में ये होता है ना? Yes. Diffusion में होता है. Swelling of this.
And there is imbibition. भूल गई?
Why?
There is adsorption on the surface first, and because of which there is swelling.
Yes, imbibition में adsorption होता है.
तो swelling हो रहा है ना उसके वजह से. You remember?
Oh, I did not even think that. Yes, correct.
And then it increased in size.
हाँ.
You remember that? Answer is imbibition. Okay.
हाँ.
Next. ये बता.
One second. I can't see the screen. Hello.
दिख रहा है?
Wait, I can. So can you बोल सकता है क्या? I can just hear it and say it.
Okay. Listen to the question. In a turgid cell, Tp-WP. Options are equal to, greater than, less than. In a turgid cell. Hello, are you there?
In a turgid cell.
Tp-WP. Equal
what is the option?
than, equal to, greater than, less than.
Oh no, what is that option? Equal to, so simple.
Very good. Next, the water which is available to the roots of plants is dash water.
So wait, can you repeat? I can't hear you.
The water which is available to the roots of the plants is dash water. Gravitational, hydrostatic, capillary. The water which is available to the roots of plants for absorption. अब भी बताया था. Gravitational, hydrostatic या capillary. Come on, quick.
Yeah, this question. Yes. This is capillary. So simple.
Very good. Capillary. Next.
What question?
Dash absorption.
Dash absorption is related.
Bolo.
Yes. I can see the screen. Wait, I can see the screen. Bolo. Absorption. Dash absorption is retarded.
Quick.
I read it again. Retarded by a metabolic in. Okay.
What's the answer?
I'm confused. Dash absorption is
It was just
retarded by
shown in your
metabolic.
next
Hey,
slide.
this you taught me. Yes.
ये बताया था.
Dash absorption is retarded by osmotic or non-osmotic.
Answer is
I'm confused.
it is non-osmotic.
Why? Why non-osmotic?
Active में दो टाइप थे, osmotic, non-osmotic. Non-osmotic is against the concentration.
Yes.
There are certain chemicals produced. अभी just इसके पहले वाले slide में बताया था.
Oh yes, yes, correct.
Next one. Filament tissue is present in plants like dash. It was shown in the beginning of this lesson, if you remember.
What was that plant? If options are cactus, Vanda. Yes, I know Vanda.
It is Vanda. Correct.
Yes, Vanda.
Last one. About 98.
इससे पहले भी last बोला था. About 98% of absorption.
Both.
By the root is active or passive. Yet, what happens in active? What happens in passive? Active में no.
Come on, easy answer. Make it fast.
Passive and active. Sir, no, don't say it. 1 second. I'm thoda confused. 1 second.
This is not a question where you can get confused. Come on. Quick.
Passive. Sorry. Yes.
It is passive. Without energy, right?
Yes, correct. Yes.
Okay.
I am right.
That we come to the end of a very important part of this lesson.
What chapter is over?
About absorption. Absorption is completed. Okay, but plant water relation still remains. Now we have to see after this. This translocation, how it reaches the leaves. Okay, what exactly happens to the water in the leaves? What happens to transpiration?
I thought chapter खत्म हो गया.
It's regulated. ये सब अभी इसके कहानी बाकी.
Okay.
अच्छी तरह समझा.
Yes, अच्छे से समझा.
Okay.